So France has declared 3 days of national mourning after the attack in Nice. Now let's also talk to our correspondent Daniel Williams. He's joining us live in Paris for more. Daniel, French Prime Minister Manuel Valls left an emergency cabinet meeting in Paris on Friday after the attack. Tell us more on the meeting, please.
That's right. Manuel Valls, as well as François Hollande, the French president, met with the Defence and Security Council here in Paris. Of course, the key questions facing them is how could this attack take place? Was enough put in place in order to avoid such carnage? And what next? How to avoid such things happening in the future? And according to Manuel Valls, the French Prime Minister, he had to admit afterwards, after the meeting, that very much it's very difficult for France to stop these kind of attacks, warning that these attacks will continue in the future, and very much saying that France is very much at war with terrorism. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Terrorism is, and we've been saying this for a long time, a threat which weighs heavily on France and will continue to do so. I've said before that unfortunately we may experience events like this in the future, and there may be more innocent victims. We are facing up to the war which terrorism is waging on us. The goal of terrorists is to spread fear and panic.
Manuel Valls talking there. We understand that he will will travel now to Nice to see for himself the catastrophic events down there, the horror down there for himself before continuing with his other duties, and of course France undergoing 3 days of national mourning from Saturday.
Well, French President François Hollande announced the extension of France's state of emergency by 3 months. How would this affect the country? What will be the next steps for France to fight against such terrorist attacks?
Well, certainly amongst the questions at that council meeting today, the cabinet meeting today, would be how to make it more difficult. There will be questions as to how this truck was allowed access to this large group of gathering. Of course, the country has just held Euro 2016 and did so without incident. I was actually here. You could see a huge security operation underway for all of those attending the fan zones. There were 2 cordons of security, no real way of entering any kind of truck or any kind of terrorist element, a gun or a bomb, into these fan fests. And so there will be questions as to whether perhaps these softer targets, whether enough is being done in order to protect those attending such events from this happening again. There has been a history of this already, using vehicles as weapons of destruction. We've had some incidents here in France, and so therefore there will be further question marks against that. But of course France is finding itself at the very epicenter, if you like, of this Europe's terrorism threat. Of course, this is just the latest in a long stream of attacks that have occurred in France. Of course, the most horrific occurring in November last year. France still in that state of emergency. It was supposed to be lifted, as you say, that was imposed after that attack, and that now will be extended for a further 3 months. France really is a country reeling from this latest terror attack, and of course the answers to all of those questions at this stage, the politicians say that can only, if anything, expect further attacks in the future.
Country in mourning. Thank you very much, Daniel Williams, joining us from Paris.